Two dedicated retirement vehicles, Employee Provident Fund and the National Pension Scheme, have been undergoing a makeover in recent years. There are gradual changes in the product structure. They are adding more features, more options and flexibility in terms of both investments and withdrawals. How you tackle these moving parts will decide how much of a healthy nest egg you can accumulate over the years. I am Sanket Dhanorkar from the Economic Times, and I will shed light on the changing retirement landscape and how you can make the most of these retirement products. For salaried employees, the monthly contribution towards the EPF is the only post-saving mechanism. Every month, 12% of the basic salary flows towards the EPF along with a matching contribution by your employer. Not only is this contribution eligible for deduction under ATC, but even the interest earned from the investment and the final withdrawal at the time of retirement or earlier is tax-free. The contribution to the EPF is linked to your basic salary, so it keeps step with your rising income every year. This is a very critical part of building a healthy retirement corpus. However, if you wish to make even more out of your EPF contributions, you should follow the following pointers. Too often, investors dip into the EPF corpus for their short-term needs. In recent years, several changes in rules regarding withdrawals have been allowing flexibility in these investments. So now you are allowed to withdraw EPF money for needs like marriage, education, renovating your house, or even down payment for your house. While these measures do bring relief for genuine needs, experts insist that you should ideally not dip into the retirement corpus unless the needs are very critical. This is because the entire essence of EPF lies in the power of compounding. The corpus, if allowed to build up every year along with the incremental contributions, can add up to a significant corpus over the years. However, if you take out this money before retirement, then it impedes the entire compounding process. That is why experts insist that you should avoid dipping into the corpus. The second point is enhancing contribution via the VPF. Experts recommend increasing your contribution to the Provident Fund via the Voluntary Provident Fund. The VPF is particularly recommended for people who are nearing their retirement, as increasing the equity allocation at this stage is not recommended. If you want to bolster your retirement corpus, experts recommend that you increase the VPF contribution. Rollover account during a job change. If you are changing jobs, you should ensure that you are transferring your corpus, accumulated corpus, from one account to the other. If you don't do this, there are several downsides. First, it could increase your tax liability. Even after you leave the job, the account continues to fetch interest over the years. This interest becomes taxable even if you don't withdraw the money. Secondly, the mandatory 5-year continuous service clause for tax exemption is reset to the date that you start the new account. So, if you switch jobs and happen to withdraw your EPF money within a few years, the amount that you withdraw may become taxable even if you have completed 5 continuous years service. Thirdly, the pension eligibility under EPS will be reset as your previous stints under the previous employers will not be considered for computation of the pension. When the National Pension Scheme opened to the general public 10 years ago, it suffered from rigid rules and was rather tax inefficient. In recent years, however, there have been changes in the product. It has allowed more tax benefits. There have been more flexibility and options made available to the investors. Here is how you can make the most of the NPS. Investors can avail of multiple tax benefits under the NPS. Currently, rules say that investors can withdraw 60% of the corpus upon retirement. 40% of the corpus moves into a compulsory annuity. Now, earlier, 40% of this 60% that could be withdrawn was tax-free while the remaining was taxable. Now, however, the entire 60% is tax-free for the investor. The remaining amount that flows into the annuity is taxable. There are multiple windows that investors can avail of under the NPS for tax benefits. Investors who contribute under Section 80C limit of 1.5 lakh can claim deduction under Section 80CCD1. Additionally, under Section 80CC1B, investors can contribute up to 50,000 and avail a tax deduction on the same. Further, if your employer contributes up to 10% of your basic salary to the NPS, investors can claim that as a deduction under Section 80CCD2. Experts say that if this is made available by your employer, then you should take entire advantage of the multiple tax windows that the NPS provides. Don't invest in NPS for the tax benefits alone. Placing a limit creates an artificial ceiling for your savings, irrespective of what your actual requirement may be. Besides, it will deprive you of adequate pension benefits upon retirement. Use the switches in NPS judiciously. Under the NPS, investors are allowed to switch between fund managers in a year. The NPS allows 2 such switches in a year. However, experts advise that investors use this flexibility in moderation. If the fund manager is not performing for 3 or more years, only then should you consider shifting your fund manager. Besides, NPS also allows 2 switches in asset allocation every year. This is also a flexibility which investors should use in moderation. Opt for active choice for greater control. In NPS, investors have the choice of 2 investing modes, the active choice and the auto choice. Under active choice, investors are free to invest according to their own risk profile and can invest between equities, government bonds and corporate bonds as per the requirements. Under the auto choice, the asset mix changes automatically depending on your age. Experts suggest that investors should use the active choice instead of the auto choice. This is because under the auto choice, the allocation to equities moderates quite early in the age. Even for a subscriber who opts for aggressive option for higher equity exposure, the allocation reduces sharply from 75% up to age 35 to 55% by the time she hits 40 and further to 35% by age 45. Reducing your equity exposure at such a young age is not an ideal option. It will prevent you from building a healthy corpus when you actually need the money on retirement. Those were some of the changes in the EPF and the NPS. For more such information, keep watching this space.